So let's talk about a challenge that a lot of ambitious professionals are facing. How do you completely level up your skills, your whole career path, really, without having to hit the pause button on your life? That's what we're digging into today.
This right here, this is the whole idea. Just picture it. You're out there on the wing, swapping out major parts, upgrading the whole system, all while the plane is soaring miles above the earth. It's such a perfect picture of what it feels like to be a modern professional trying to get ahead. And this isn't just a cool metaphor. For so many of you, whether you're a working professional, a transfer student, or especially an international student, you literally can't ground the plane. Pausing your income, your career momentum, and for many, your visa status, it's just not an option. Okay, so here's our flight plan. First, we're going to unpack what it really means to rebuild while you're flying. Then, we'll get into the engineering behind 4 different kinds of programs. After that, we'll map out a smart path forward for you. And finally, we'll show you how to kick off your own guided evaluation.
All right, let's jump in. The whole concept of a professional degree really hinges on this huge difference between just knowing a thing and being able to actually do something with what you know. So here's the big divide. A traditional research degree, that's all about discovery in a perfectly controlled lab setting. But a professional master of public health, or MPH, that's built for the messy, chaotic, real world. It's about taking all that amazing science and actually making it work in a human society. To make it even more clear, think of the researcher as a meteorologist. They're brilliant, studying incredibly complex data from a safe distance, building these amazing predictive models about a hurricane. That work is the absolute foundation. But the professional MPH grad, they're the emergency manager on the ground. They take that same data from the meteorologist and have to solve a totally different problem. How do we actually get 2 million people out of the city? They're managing logistics, communicating risk, and dealing with panicked people. A spreadsheet can't do that. Leadership does. Okay, let's move on and see how this all connects. If the goal is this kind of applied, hands-on practice, then how in the world do you build a degree program for someone who's already deep into their career? What's so telling when you look at this is the trade-offs. A fully on-campus program, it's just not compatible with most people's work lives. Fully online is super flexible, yeah, but you can miss out on that critical human interaction you need for leadership skills. And hybrid models are great, but they tie you to one location. That's really why this low-residency model pops out. It's truly engineered for compatibility and deep, practical learning. The best way to think about this is like an executive retreat for grad school. You do all the deep focus, individual work from home on your own time. Then you fly in for these short, super intense collaborative sessions where the real hands-on application happens. Now, I want to be crystal clear about something. This isn't about ditching hard science for soft skills, not at all. This technical stuff, biostats, epidemiology, it's the absolute non-negotiable baseline. You have to be able to read the data. This is your ticket to the game. But that technical baseline is just where you start, not where you finish. This stuff, applied leadership, this is what makes you stand out. Can you take complex data and turn it into a memo a CEO will actually read? Can you get people on board with a major change? That is what employers are desperate for. And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single biggest advantage of this whole approach: immediate application. There's no 2-year lags time. Think about it. You learn a new quality improvement framework over the weekend, and you walk into your job on Monday morning and start putting it to work. That creates this incredible feedback loop that builds your credibility right now. Okay, so for this next part, we have to get into the nuts and bolts, because a great program design is pretty useless if you can't figure out the tricky path to actually get there, especially if you're a transfer or international student. Right? These are the questions that keep people up at night. What's going to happen to all the credits I've already earned? Is this kind of program going to mess with my F1 visa? Am I going to lose all my career momentum by switching things up? These are totally valid and really critical questions. So for transfer students, a low-residency program offers this huge strategic edge. You don't have to pack up your life and move. You get to keep your home, your job, your support system, all while you strategically map your existing credits over and keep your momentum going full steam ahead. Now, for international students, listen up, because this is so important. A properly designed, accredited low-residency program is not some kind of workaround or a loophole. It is a formal academic structure, meticulously engineered from the ground up to be fully compliant with F1 visa regulations. Those on-site residencies are there specifically to meet the physical presence requirements. It's a secure, legitimate path. Okay, let's quickly break down two acronyms you'll hear a lot, CPT and OPT, because knowing the difference is huge. First up, CPT, Curricular Practical Training. The key word is curricular. This is work authorization for a job or internship that is an integral, required part of your program. It happens during your degree. And then you've got OPT, Optional Practical Training. This is the work authorization you usually use for about a year after you graduate to get experience. So the simple way to remember it, CPT is part of your classes, OPT is what you do after your classes are done. And this all leads to a really crucial warning. When you're dealing with academic transfers, and especially immigration rules, you just can't guess. The regulations are complex, they change. You have to work with people who know what they're doing to engineer your path with total precision before you take a single step. Which brings us to our final and honestly most important section, how you go from feeling totally overwhelmed by all this info to actually taking clear, confident action. Student Transfer Experts has embedded its years of transfer expertise into Transfer GPT, so you can assess whether a program or university transfer truly fits your academic history, career goals, and constraints. If you're ready to explore structured transfer pathways with clarity and compliance awareness, you can fill in your details in the form on our website, studenttransferexperts.com, for a guided evaluation by our team. So, we'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. Think of public health as this vital bridge that we all rely on. What happens to the quality of that bridge when the people doing the upgrades are the same ones who are out there driving over it every single day? It changes everything, doesn't it?
Right choices, effective outcomes. Brought to you by Student Transfer Experts.